Press. This is a joint communique that has just been issued by the Prime Minister of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Raila Odinga, and jointly signed by the Prime Minister of the Transitional Federal Government of Somalia, and it states as follows. The Kenyan security operation inside Somalia is aimed at eliminating the threat posed by Al-Shabaab to Kenya's national security and economic well-being, and is based on the legitimate right to self-defense under Article 51 of the United Nations Charter. Number two, that Al-Shabaab constitutes a threat to both Somalia and Kenya, and is therefore a common enemy to the region and the world as a whole. This threat must be fought jointly by the two nations with the support of the international community. Number three, that the current operations being led by the Transitional Federal Government of Somalia forces, with the support of the Kenyan Defense Forces, are in pursuit of a legitimate agenda, and that is targeting the Al-Shabaab targets. Number four, that the Somali government supports the activities of the Kenyan forces, which are being fully coordinated with the TFG of Somalia and being carried out in the spirit of good neighborliness and African unity. Number five, that there will be continual sharing of intelligence and information on Al-Shabaab activities and the military operation to flush them out. In this regard, a joint high-level coordinating committee has been established, and it will maintain regular ongoing contacts, including periodic meetings in Nairobi and Mogadishu. Number six, there will be a need to mount joint diplomatic campaigns by both countries to galvanize support for the operation, beginning with a joint meeting with select members of the diplomatic corps in Nairobi on November the 1st, 2011, followed by visits to several select capitals. Number seven, that additional AMISOM troops will be provided to move into the liberated areas in southern Somalia with a joint meeting to help safeguard peace and security and assist the establishment of local administrations with the guidance of the transitional federal government. Number eight, that the international community assists in providing immediate humanitarian assistance in the liberated areas and provide needed funding for other urgently needed services such as health, education, and roads. Number nine, that the transitional federal government will seek the ICC assistance in beginning immediate investigations into crimes against humanity committed by individuals within the Al-Shabaab movement, with the aim of seeking their indictment as soon as possible. Number 10, that the international community provides the necessary logistical and financial support for the blockade of the port of Kismayu until Al-Shabaab is removed. Number 11, that the Kenyan government shall not negotiate with Al-Shabaab, but the Transitional Federal Government of Somalia is free to negotiate with all armed opposition groups within the instruments guiding this roadmap, i.e. the Djibouti peace process and the Kampala Accords will guide this, as recommended by IGAD, the African Union, and the AU, so long as they renounce violence. This is done in Nairobi on the 31st day of October 2011, signed by on behalf of the government of Kenya, the Honorable Prime Minister, Republic of Kenya, Raila Odinga, and for the Transitional Federal Government, His Excellency Abdiwale Mohamed Ali, the Prime Minister of the Transitional Federal Government of Somalia. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you already heard joint communique which you have issued today after a fairly lengthy deliberation. I want to add that we have had very useful, very fruitful deliberations with the delegation from Somalia, led by His Excellency Abdiwali Mohammed Ali. We have been able to share a lot of information between us because this is, as you have said in the past, a joint operation between the Kenyan forces and the TFG forces in Somalia. Al-Shabaab is a common enemy to all of us, and we would like to see that this menace is completely put behind us. We need international support in doing this because we would like to see that normal life return back to the Republic of Somalia. That we know that this matter has persisted for a long time. Whereas the TFG is fully grounded in Mogadishu, the rest of the country has been under this armed gang called Al-Shabaab. The areas which have now been liberated are there. The population are suffering. The forces, the joint forces, are actually sharing the little that they have with this population, including food and water. That's the reason why we are sending out an emergency appeal for support and assistance so that these people can be supplied with food and essentials like medicines and so on. The other one is that an area which has been occupied by a gang like this for a long time, you definitely know that education has suffered. So we would like to quickly begin the reconstruction work, putting up schools, health centers, and infrastructure generally in this area. We are going to be having a meeting tomorrow with our friends and the donors who can assist us in this very gigantic task of consolidation and reconstruction. We have a common interest in this, and we are in it for the long haul to ensure that peace and normalcy come back to the Horn of Africa. We would like to see a liberated Somalia in future join the East African community. So I would therefore now have the pleasure to invite my colleague to come and say a few words. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Prime Minister Raila Odinga and the government of Kenya for their wonderful hospitality accorded to my delegation. I also like to take this opportunity to thank the people of Kenya for their support for the last 20 years to the people of Somalia. They gave safety and succor to millions of Somalis fleeing the civil war that has taken place in my country. Now, there is no daylight between Somalia and Kenya in fighting Al-Shabaab. They are a threat to the safety and the security of both countries. Therefore, it's necessary for us to have a common strategy against a common enemy. We should have a unity of purpose, and we should work in tandem until this threat is eliminated from Somalia and from the Horn of Africa. This is not, Shabaab is not a Somali phenomenon. It's not a regional problem. is a global problem. Therefore, it's incumbent upon us, the international community, to face this threat and to make sure that it should be eliminated from the face of the earth. We had a good discussion with the Prime Minister and the other members of the Kenyan government to work together and, as he said, to share intelligence and to make sure that we are working together. And at the same time, this operation will be led by the Somali forces with the support of the Kenyan forces. There should be what we call a three-pronged approach, whereby once the threat is eliminated and the area is liberated from Al-Shabaab, then there should be local administrations established by local people so that to avoid vacuum to take place. And then after that, to deliver humanitarian services to the people who were denied relief aid by this terrorist organization. And also, as the Prime Minister said, to deliver other basic services such as education, health, recovery, reconstruction, and development, because they deserve it. They were denied this for the last 20 years. Thank you. haddaan marka waxa la yidhi af Soomaali inaan ku sheego waxaan aad ugu faraxsanahay in soo dhaweyntii ay soo dhaweeyeen Prime Ministerka waddanka Kenya iyo dowladdiisu aniga waftigayga waxaan yeelanay wadahadal aad u wanaagsan aanu ka hadlaynay xiriirka labada waddan iyo sidii la saakaashan lahaa la dagaalanka argagixisada Al-Shabaab. dagaalkaasi waxaa horseed ka ah ciidamada Soomaaliyeed annagoo taageero ka helayna walaalaheenna dalka Kenya. ujeedaduna waxaa weeye in dhibaatadan Soomaaliya ku habsatay ee ah cadowgan Al-Shabaab in la iska xoreeyo, sababtoo Al-Shabaab maaha Soomaaliya problem kale Soomaaliya ku kooban, waa problem waxay problem ku tahay khatarna ku tahay wadamada Geeska Afrika iyo regionka iyo adduunkaba. saas daraadeed waxaa waajib ah inaan iska kaashano ama ha noqoto anaga iyo Kenya ama ha noqoto anaga iyo international community inaan la dagaalano cadowgan khatarta ku ah inaga oo dhan. ujeedadu waxaa weeye markii laga xoreeyo in laga xoreeyo marka koowaad in laga xoreeyo waddanka cadowgan, marka labaadna saada socotada marka la xoreeyo in dadka waddanka ku nool ay dhistaan maamul iyaga ay leeyihiin oo iyaga ka yimaada, iyadoo oo muslimiintaasna ay doorka iyo roolka koowaad ay qaadanayso dowladda Soomaaliya ayaa iska leh yani waajibaadkaas. ka bacdina dadkan dhibaatada loo geystay loona diiday xataa iyadoo ay dhibaato ka jirtay soo socotaan abaar iyo macluul ka jirtay loo diiday in gargaarkii uu gaaro, in la gaarsiiyo gargaar degdeg ah, international community ay gaarsiiso gargaar degdeg ah. ka bacdina wixii tasiilaada iyo imkaaniyaad kale oo loo baahnaa ee dowladnimadu leedahay la gaarsiiyo sida caafimaadka.
The Honorable Abdul Wahab Ogas Hussein, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Trade. Honorable Hussein Arab Issa is Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Defense. And Honorable Abdul Samad Mali Mohammed is Minister for Interior and National Security. Lieutenant General Abdul Qadir Dini, the Commander of TFG Forces. And then, of course, the Ambassador Mohammed Ali Noor, who is also with us here. And our delegation, the Minister for Defense, and we also had the Chief of General Staff. We had also the Director of Intelligence, the Commissioner of Police, a number of senior government officials from Kenya. Thank you.
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, if there's anybody who would like to have a question, you will allow about 4 questions. We will start with, yes.
Hello, my name is Catherine Morrow. I'm from the Associated Press. I would like to ask Prime Minister Ali, please. There are reports that a Kenyan bombing raid caused civilian casualties in southern Somalia. What information do you have about this, and what would your response be if this bombing raid was shown to cause civilian casualties?
We'll take 4. Yes, madam.
Hi, my name is Selena from East. My question is going to Prime Minister Raila Odinga. And I just want to know how is it here for Kenyans?
The incident that has been told that has been taking place in Jilib area, we are looking into the information as of now. I don't have confirmations of what has happened there, and we're looking into that. If that happened really and civilian casualties has taken place, then it's an unfortunate incident, and we're sorry about that. So, but we are looking into the information, and we will make assessments after that.
I have nothing to add about that. The Prime Minister has already said our troops are not targeting civilians. We are actually just targeting Al-Shabaab holdouts or hideouts. So definitely we have not targeted any civilians. It will be most unfortunate, but the information we have that is just an Al-Shabaab propaganda. That is what we have from our own forces. The cost to Kenya, war costs on a daily basis. You cannot say what cost it is. And we have not gone into this as a tea party. We have gone into this because of necessity. This is the first time in our history that Kenyan forces have gone outside our borders. The purpose is really to secure our own country. The cost to our economy has been great and rising. As you know, our own people have been killed, quite a number. Then tourists have also been abducted. Aid workers have been abducted. This, of course, is causing a lot of panic, and it's also hurting our economy. Our tourist economy is actually suffering. So the cost of inaction will be much higher than the cost of acting now. And we've said that we have a responsibility to protect our people, to protect our country. That's why our troops are going in there. And let me say that we have no intention of staying a day longer than necessary. That we have no imperialistic intentions of occupying any part of Somalia. That's why we have said that the AMISOM or some troops should be increased, and that the additional troops that are coming now should be deployed on the liberated parts, so that our troops can actually hand over to the AMISOM forces. We are only going to play a supportive role. And what we've said is that this need now to move in and create infrastructure in the area and help the civilian population who have suffered for nearly 20 years since that time. By the way, the joint troops, that is the TFG and the Kenyan forces, have been welcomed with velvet gloves by the populations wherever they've been to. These people are very grateful that for the first time they are seeing forces who are humane in terms of dealing with them, handling them with care, and sharing the little that they have in terms of food and water. What we expect what support we require for Kismayu. Kismayu is the major supply port for the Al-Shabaab. And our intention is to blockade it so that we cut off the supply line for the Al-Shabaab. And that's why we have made an appeal to the international communities to bring ships. The support we are looking for are ships to blockade the port of Kismayu so that the supply line for Al-Shabaab can be terminated. The Al-Shabaab troops are coming back from wherever they've been trained. We are prepared for any eventuality or consequences. Thank you.
Yes, well, first one is about discord between the TFG. There's no discord in the TFG leadership. I came here with the blessing of the president, and I came here with his instructions to talk to the Kenyan government. So there's no discord in this issue. As far as administrations are concerned, as we said, the TFG has the leading role in establishing administrations, and administrations should be established after the area is liberated because we don't want to create a vacuum. But these administrations will be local administrations by the local people. It will be administrations chosen by them. It will be administrations that are based on fairness, on fair representation of the people in the area. And the TFG will take a leading role in establishing administrations.
The support, the African Union and the IGAD have fully supported this operation, and they have issued a communique to that effect. We are going to be going to the UN, but other countries have already expressed support, as you know. The US, France, and several other countries have expressed support for Kenya. Next door, Tanzania have said they do support Uganda, Rwanda. So we have generally the international support for this operation. Sarah, if the UNICEF does not come, what will you do? Of course, this is a joint operation between us and the TFG. But I just want to lay your fears. The UNICEF are going to be coming. Already Djibouti has troops that they want to deploy, and we are actually saying that those ones should be deployed on this side. Already it has been approved that the strength of UNISOM will be increased from 9,000 to 12,000. But we are now talking about upscaling it beyond the 12,000. Those additional troops we are saying should now come and help consolidate the liberated areas of Somalia. Long-term planning, no. Nothing could be further from the truth. This is a reaction to a situation that was developing, that was becoming intolerable as far as we are concerned. So we have moved in order to secure our country. You remember there have been grenade attacks earlier. People were killed up around Wajir and Garissa area. Our fishermen were killed down in Lamu. And they abducted a British tourist, killed her husband, abducted a French lady who was living here, eventually went and killed her up there. They abducted two aid workers, and nobody knows how long or where this was going to end. And that was the reason why they decided that action needed to be taken now. So it was nothing that was planned for a long time. That's Azania was never started here by the Kenya government. those are the people from that area who are talking about forming a government called Azania. So we are not part of it. We know we are part of any kind of secessionist movement in any country. Somalia is a friendly neighbor. All that we want to see is a stable civilian authority in Mogadishu with which we can do business. This is all that is concerning us here as Kenyans. We want to help Somalia stabilize, because everyone knows that the epicenter of the crisis we're having in this region is Somalia. That is what is actually actuating our actions. Swali, vipi ulimwengu umepokea mambo haya vipi? Ningependa kukueleza kwamba ulimwengu nzima ingependa kuona kama kuna amani katika nchi jirani ya Somalia.
Who handles the press matters within the Prime Minister's office. Thank you and have a good afternoon.